Hello everyone, I'm Kimberly from Dirt Floor Fibers and welcome back. It is Friday, just short of 11 o'clock. We have second Sundays on Sunday, so we have a day and a half to prep. And I'm telling you, I will do everything except actually market prep. So my crochet day kind of bit the dust because Amelia decided that her little project was more important. All right, can everyone say hello to Daphne? We got one pretty little girl. Say hi to people. Say hi to people. Oh my goodness. Yeah, tell me how black ram, brown you, I get a snow white baby. But that's okay, you're so pretty. Now, I name them by their years of when they were born. So even though Cornelius was not born with me, he was from last year, so he got a C name. So we are up to D name. So I've been thinking Daphne for a little girl. She does not like being held like this. Let me put her back down. Cornelius is like all up in everyone's business. I'm trying to pet the baby. See? Okay, I know Cornelius. Is it, buddy? Is that your album cover? Is that your album cover, huh? You pretty girl? Look at that face. Look at that face. So I'm so sad that she does not have a colored fleece, but could you be upset by something that looked like that? Yeah. Are you beautiful? Are you a strong, smart, independent lady? Look at those ears. She's killing me. So cute. But of course, that's only half the project. Amelia went above and beyond her first year. And then we also got this little boy. Check him out. Now, I don't have a name for him yet. I need a good boy's name that starts with a D. I was considering Dave, just for fun. Kind of looks like a Dave, doesn't he? But with a Cornelius and an Amelia and a Daphne, Dave just doesn't seem dignified. So he needs, oh my nobody, oh my goodness. He needs something more dignified. So today is Sunday. And I had big plans for today because we are exactly 1 week out from our first market of the year, and boy do we have some work to do. I have been selfish all winter in working on me projects, but it is time to get back in the swing of actual market prep. And of course, now that I waited until the last minute to get anything done, Amelia totally screwed up my entire weekend by deciding to have her lambs, which they're not even that cute, right? I mean, they're not even that cute. It's fine. We'll make this work. So, oh my gosh, it is probably close to noon now. I didn't even look at the time, but I slept in a little bit this morning. Not super late, but I slept in a little bit. And then I went and got myself breakfast and some coffee, and I checked on the Lammy Poos, who are, by the way, still doing okay. I feel like when they're so small like that, I get so nervous because I'm so afraid that something's going to happen to them, or they're going to wander outside the electric fence, or something's going to get in after them. But Amelia is being such a good mom. Every time one of them wanders out of her sight, she immediately starts chirping, and it turns around, it comes back. Oh my gosh, they're less than 24 hours old, and they are so cute. Again, I'm still leaning toward Daphne for the little girl. Dionysus was put forward as a name for the little boy and calling him Dino for short, which is so cute. I don't know. It's on the list. We'll have to come with something good for the little boy. But anyway, we still have to do some work today, regardless of whether or not Amelia is trying to ruin my weekend. So the first thing that we are going to do, we're out here at the farm, and we got to do some rearranging. So I've been living with my yarn stash in the front seat after we did the inventory. I haven't been out here since then, but I want to be able to put that back away under cover because I don't want it to sit in the front. Now that it's actually getting bright and sunny outside, I don't want any of that to fade, and I need the room back in my car. So we're gonna put that away, but I'm thinking since it's actually kind of nice out, it's still muddy, but it's it's better than what it was, right? It's better. So I might take a minute to go ahead and rearrange the inside area of the little barn so that I can put things away a little more easily. I did forget I have a couple of boxes in my office at work that wouldn't fit in my truck when I was moving out of my storage shed. And one of them has all the legs to my storage shelves. And if I had brought the box with the legs, I could have put my shelves together and then I would have had a place to actually put things on shelves in my little barn area. But I'm going to have to come back out sometime before next Sunday in order to get my stuff for second Sunday. So I'll probably bring them then, and then I can grab my tent and stuff and bring everything back. Again, hopefully, it's supposed to snow on Monday. It's like in the 60s right now. I'm like sweating in a sweatshirt. And then it's supposed to snow on Monday, which is tomorrow. Oh my gosh, it's tomorrow, Monday. Anyway, we're just hoping that we are going to dry out here because I have got to get my studio shed into place. This is absolutely driving me nuts. So, rearrange, get my yarn put away. I do want to look and see if I can find that project bag that had the sock yarn in it that I'm missing, that also has my book in it. It's got to be somewhere logical. It's probably inside here somewhere, I think. We're going to look for it, see if we can find it. And then I want to assess what yarn for crochet I have. We've got to get some plushies done, and I have a lot of neutral colors that I had picked out that I was going to work on for the last market of last year, which never happened because we got snowed out. I think it was snow. It was bad weather anyway. And so I want to just kind of look and see if I need to add any like brighter, prettier colors into my yarn stash for working with this week. So, oh, that sun went away. This feels really nice now. All right, let's go ahead and get rearranging. And ignore the hair. It's windy out here, so the hair doesn't know what it wants to do. I am terrified to look inside this shed. All right, this is what we're dealing with. So, I actually have a bucket of corn from last year I need to process. This stupid vacuum takes up so much room. I'm wondering if I can fit it over in the other side under cover. I think my shelves are going to have to go this way. I don't think I can fit two of them across the back. Or maybe I can do one and then one coming this way. And that stupid thing is in the way. Also something I want to put in the studio shed when it gets here. But like, all this stuff's just sitting on the floor. If I actually had shelves, it would be so much better. All right. And then I want to get this out of the doorway because it's a pain to get past that. All right, let's see what we can do. Oh, look. We have straw in here. That'll be helpful. And then I can rebed the sheep for the snow on Monday. And then hopefully that'll be enough to keep the little lammy poos warm. Woohoo! Okay, so this may not look any better, but it feels better to me. So this bookshelf here was over in the other side of the shed in the open part. And I managed to unearth it, move it in here. And so I got all of my Advents, some kind of like toiletry and household buckets, fiber out of the way. I wish I could have gotten this up on the top, but my wool picker was taking up all of the room, but that's fine. That gets that up and out of the way. Moved my Jackery over to the side so I could actually access it. Got my saw and my vacuum out of the way so I stopped tripping over it every time I walked in. I do have to find a broom because I have some spilled sheep feed that I don't want living in here. Yeah, so I left this guy next to the door for just right now because I'm gonna have to move everything to get those big black shelves in, and then I'll figure out exactly where I want that to go. I did unearth some stuff that I was looking for. First was my laundry bag. I knew I had this somewhere, couldn't find it. But then I also found that I'd forgotten about. I had ordered a new sweatshirt from Sheepishly Me. How stinking cute is that? It's more fall themed than spring themed, but I don't care. So now I have a clean sweatshirt to add to the rotation. All right. Wah! I did not find my sock in my book, but I have another shelf that I want to look on. Do you see what I see? This basket back here was one of the last things I packed. Do you see the corner of that tan bag? I wonder if that's my sock bag, but it's all the way back there. Whew. Okay, here we go. It's my sock bag. I am so stinking happy, guys. It's my sock. So this is the Alchemist. I'm pretty sure I have it as a project on my Ravelry page, if I'm not mistaken. But it's using one of the Huloko chicken sets, I think. I'm pretty sure. How cute is that? I'm dying to know, like, if this is too tall of a sock for me. I feel like it is, but I also feel like you can't tell until you actually like put it on. So I'm really, really excited to actually get this finished. I'm also really excited. I think this is the best stripe transition I have ever done. So here's the end of the round, but if you look at the stripes, like, you would have no idea. Got the little bit of the slip stitch on the heel, so it's nice and strong. Still got my shorty needle. Oh, I wonder if my needles are in here. Hang on. Whoa, oh no, sock down. Okay. So first of all, this is a Daisy Said bag, and I love this. So I often pull from around the outside. I think I am doing center pull for this one. But I'm thinking, because this is not as like tight as a regular skein coat, that you could still pull from the outside, but it still stays contained because it has a little stretchy at the top. But like I said, Daisy Said Daisy Said is the bag maker, and I definitely want to get some more of these. I love them. What else we got in here? Oh gosh, it's getting windy. We have a book. Do you like how I'm using my ChiaoGoo Twist tip bag as a bookmark? But old-fashioned on purpose. I've just gotten started on it, stuck it in the bag, and then obviously lost the bag. Whoa! Like, hurricane out here. It is so stinking windy out here, but I can't bring myself to complain because for a while, until I get electricity, my studio shed is going to be not air-conditioned. And so I'm going to face it so that the front door opens into this wind. And then that way I can like open the windows on the front door and have a breeze like nobody's business come through. As soon as I can get it delivered. Oh my gosh. But old fashioned on purpose. I like it so far, but again, I've just basically gotten past the introduction. So I'll give you a better recommendation once I actually read it. And then the other half of my twist set. So these are the minis. How cute are these little guys? They come with, if you've never seen them, 2-inch, be careful not to drop any. If I could drop any out here in the field, they are gone. But 2-inch and 3-inch. And these are the size 0s through 3s. And then I have the next size up at home. I thought this was a yellow bag. I guess it's red. I guess I have red and blue. Then I wonder what the yellow one is. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But then I also have the next size up, which works really well for like sleeves on sweaters. And it comes with these little cords, a 5-inch cord, a 6-inch cord, and an 8-inch cord. And so you have some really great options for, again, collars, sleeves, socks. And then you don't have to deal with magic loop or double pointeds, which I do love my double pointeds. But I love these like little tiny in the round ones better than doing magic loop. I hate magic loop. If I practiced more, maybe I would like it, but hasn't been a priority. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. No, I'm gonna put it in my car because my needle tip bag is at work right now. I just have my crochet and my double pointeds in the car. So we'll take this with us so we can get that organized. I do wanna have this project back in rotation. Oop, there's the tag. It's on their Phyllis sock. And this is the color French Marin, and the minis are Mulberry and Agate. So super pretty. I have the minis in the bag too. Boom. Okay, so let's get this in the car, and then we will trade out our big bucket, which when I move that bookshelf, I may have found the rest of my yarn stash. Give me a second. All right, so number one, check out this background. Why would you want to move out there to the middle of nowhere? This right here, this view is why I want to move out here to the middle of nowhere. Me, my yarn, and my sheep. And maybe some coffee. That's all I need, okay? Oh my gosh. How stinking pretty is this? Anyway, guess what I found, guys. My other yarn stash tub. I'm so excited. I'm not going to bring this with me because I don't want to drag it around in my truck. I love having my passenger seat back again. So I think I have time, or I'm going to make time rather, to sit down and inventory it right now. I've got my notebook all ready to go. The whips I set aside in my truck for right now, even though I've got to market prep and not work for myself for the next week. I've got my bag with my Pretty Please scarf. I also have, that's where I'm keeping my active squares for my ebony granny square blanket. I have the giant tote bag that has all of the blanket yarn in it, plus all my finished squares. And then I kept out the bag with my sock. And then I also kept out the bag with my Austera sweater, I think that's what it's called, sweater. Because if I finish up something else or I want to switch to another project, that's the next whip that I really want to get off the needles. The other reason was because I knew I had some other stuff in that bag that I forgot about last time. So I pulled out the sweater, and what did I find? I found another set of needle tips, so this is going to have to go in its proper location. I found another set of barber cords. That will actually probably stay with the sweater because I think I had this in the bag because I needed it to put a section on hold. So that will go back in the bag permanently. This will go back in the bag just until I get it put away. And then I also had some yarn in the bottom too. So this was my yarn that I was going to do the One Love scarf from Joji Locatelli, which was the mystery knit along from her last fall that I never got a chance to start. I did put it in the bag though, because since it had been rolling around the bottom, I don't know if you can tell, it had been rolling around the bottom of my bag and it had already gotten fuzzy just from being in my bag. So definitely not the strongest yarn ever. It is a single ply merino, I think. Definitely single ply. It is from Tributary Yarns. I don't know if you can see that, Tributary Yarns. And it is 70% merino, 30% silk in the color Mayfly. River silk and merino fingering weight. So that's what the information looks like. And so I'm actually kind of surprised that with the silk in it, it fuzzed that much. So anyway, it needed to live in a bag where it wasn't going to get all fuzzed up in the meantime. So I have that. Then I have my skein of merino and possum, not like United States possum, like New Zealand and Australia possum. And I really want to make this up. I was going to do a Sophie scarf out of it. Hang on for 1 second. Sorry about that, had a sneeze. Oh my gosh. So possum merino mix. I was going to do a Sophie scarf out of it because they had a sample in the store and I really, really liked it. However, I also found a pattern for the Wisp scarf, which is a similar idea, kind of long, narrow. I think it's worked in the other direction though. I'm not entirely sure. But I thought the pattern was really cute, so I may change my mind. I'm not sure. But this is from, let me get the tag unfolded in a logical manner. This is from Circus Tonic Handmade. And it's their Australia merino possum woolen spun. So 80% non-superwash merino and 20% New Zealand possum fur. And it's in the color wolf. Really, really pretty. So I'm dying to work with that. And then I think you guys have seen this before as well. This is, let me pull it out. Manos del Uruguay, the Marla. Because I was interested in trying to find something that was like Spin Cycle-esque, but more consistent. Like when you get Spin Cycle, there's like 2 or 3 distinct colors that you could get by ordering one colorway just based on where the plies, when it was like machine plied, where like the colors fell. But the lady at the store that I got this from is from Yarn Club in Virginia Beach, said that this tends to be a little bit more consistent. It is also a lot softer. It's a superwash merino, and I just love the way those marled plies look. Of course, I picked a more subtle colorway. This is I'm not sure what this is. There's 273 yards. So it's either a DK or a sport. A thin DK, a fat sport. I don't know, it's somewhere in there. I think maybe a sport. I'm making things up at this point, it doesn't say. But this is the color Dark Moss, and I have 2 skeins of that because I wanted to try making a Musselburgh hat. I don't know how you say it. The Musselburgh hat out of the heavier yarn, and I grabbed 2 just in case I needed 2. Or if that's looking like it's too thick, so it'll be double layered with 4 layers over the ears, I can then split it up and I can make 2 hats. Or I can make hats and hat and mitts. That'd be pretty too. I don't know. But that's gorgeous. I love it. I want to use it. But we're going to put that back into stash because we have too many other projects on the needles right now. But again, I love the fact that I have this all ready to go. I might leave it in just the one bag it came together in, just for ease of transport. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put these in my whip bag before they get lost. And then we're gonna go ahead and inventory this bin. So I was resetting the tripods that you guys could see the bin, had the pen cap sticking out of my mouth and forgot it was there and it just almost inhaled my pen cap. I almost just died. Don't put things like pen caps in your mouth. You don't want to leave your yarn orphaned, okay? Make good choices. Let's get inventorying. And continued my page. I am really glad that I left another one for stash yarns because we are running out. So since the last time we took a look at my inventory, I had forgotten to put in my 2 bright orange yarns, the one from Twisted Ambitions, the Crush, and the Yarny Mammoth O-Ranger. So I added those. And then of course we just survived a trunk show and only got 2 skeins of Plies and Hellhounds. That's been added as well. So I'm going to include those 3 items in our new total. So since our last check-in, between those 3 projects and then everything I just added from that tub, that added, I wrote it on my hand because I didn't have any paper convenient, other than my notebook, and I didn't want to mess my notebook up. You can't do that. What? Anyway, that added 22 separate projects, whether that's a sweater project, a blanket, or a single skein. So, but 22 separate entries, 74 full skeins of yarn, and 1 mini. Now, 3 of those full skeins are actually 6 50-gram mini sets, or 50-gram, I don't know, whatever. It was another mashup from Hue Loco where you got like a random 6. I think there were actually sets of 3 50s, and I got 2 sets, so I had 6. There is a ladybug crawling up the side of my truck right now, which super cute. Spring is here. Don't get into my yarn. So because I couldn't get the lid quite squished again. Oh, there's one on me. It landed on me. Oh my gosh. Hello. Because I couldn't get the lid quite squished all the way, I went ahead and I put it in the enclosed part of the barn, put my knitting basket on top of it. So that is now all tucked away and freed up a little bit of room in my open area of my barn. So that is all set. I'm also super excited because in the Junction Fiber Mill box that had the little boo sheep on the front of it in the bright yarn inside, I also found some caramels, which they're caramels and they're in a sealed pack. I don't think it's going to kill me. I'm going to try them. And we'll see how it goes. So the next thing on our list, now that we got that out of the way, and I think this is actually the last thing on our list unless I invent another chore, is, right, so here is my blue bag that has all the yarn I picked out last year in December to kind of make some items for market. A lot of these, I have no idea what I was thinking. Lots of neutrals in here. I think I was gonna make some cactuses, like they're little cats, but they're cactuses. Ah! that's what I actually got this yarn for. So I think that was on my list. And then it looks like I was still in hat. Oh no. It's more hat yarn that wasn't counted in my hat analysis that I did a while ago. That's okay. It's fine. But I'm thinking, looking at this, thankfully I thought ahead, and it looks like I have the acrylic yarn for, that's cotton, but for like blush and eyes. And I'm hoping the acrylic white and black are in here too. That could be a problem. I don't know where my white and black is. I have my cream, but not my white and my black. Maybe that's in another bag. We'll have to look. But I'm gonna see if I can find some like brighter color yarns to add some fun stuff as well. We'll see. All right, there's a lot of bags of yarn in there, so I was starting to get a little bit worried. I was able to find some like bright, pretty colors that I think will be fun. I think my market prep goal is going to be little items. We're coming off of winter. We're coming off of Christmas. A really cruddy winter. I think people are going to want to be like buying a little something at the first market, but it's like I'm sweating right now, even though it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So I don't know how popular hats are going to be, but I found a hat on needles. Oh, so the whole point with that. So I don't know how many hats I'm going to sell, but I'm thinking like little $5 to $10 stuffy items are going to go really well. And so I have a new pattern for mini possums that I thought would be really cute, but I was having trouble finding just plain old gray, black, and white yarn. And then I found this bag back here. In addition to the hat, I have a bunch of these like little duck bodies all done that just need like a beak and some eyes. And I have chicken bodies in here, and I found black. I'm not gonna pull it out, gray and pink yarn. I don't have a white yarn in here, but I do have like a cream, so we could do some kind of like vintage looking possums, and I think that would still be fine. I found some more hat yarn. I found Grinch bodies that I never finished. Again, they just need their scarf and their faces. And then I found Malabrigo Rasta. I don't even know where these came from, but they're Malabrigo Rasta, so I could probably make hats out of that too. But anyway, I think this bag is basically the score that I need. Oh, and it also has my black and white acrylic in it too, and another scan of pink. So I think I'm gonna stop looking in my bags of yarn and just grab these two. So I just tidied up the barn, got the lawnmower pushed back in, and I counted, including these two bags of yarn in the back, I have 15 of these blue bags that I can see filled with yarn. And that's not including the yarn that was in my pod or my nice yarn stash or anything that made it into a box. So I cannot wait to get the studio up and running so we can work through this stupid stash. All right, but this is not the end because we have the rest of this week to work on market prep. So as it becomes crunch time for market prep, I'm always looking for ways to keep myself motivated to actually get it done. Because you know it's not that I don't want to actually do it. I love the patterns, I love the crocheting, I love the finished products, I love being able to put it out on display and have people go, oh my gosh, I love that. It makes them so happy. I get happy, we're all happy. So why can't I get my market prep done? Need a little inspiration. Now, one of the big things that helps is being able to put on like shows, YouTube series, whatever. It's almost like body doubling, even if somebody's not doing crochet prep. Like just having somebody else in the room with me really, really helps me get the task done. So we're definitely going to put some Netflix on later, some YouTube, whatever. But I have found another way to motivate yourself to get your market prep done. Go grocery shopping. Guys, 3 bags of groceries and a case of off-brand soda is $88. We gotta go crochet a lot of turtles to pay for lunch. It's Monday, and my number one question is why in the heck is it so cold? But according to the Weather Channel app, this should be the last cold day. So, hello spring. I have a feeling it's going to slide right into summer with nothing in between, because that's just the way we've been going. Anyway, though, made a small purchase, ran into Michael's, and number one, not to complain or anything, but Michael's does realize that it was nowhere near as beloved as Joann's. And yet, after what happened to Joann's, it's still letting itself go downhill. I'm telling you, like, the fake flower section is twice the size of yarn. They have so many decorations and kids' toys and all of that crap. Like, there's just no selection. It's sad. I like the ease of online shopping, but I kind of miss being able to go to the store and just buy something that you need. But anyway, I normally get my polyfill in giant 20-pound boxes, and in fact I have like 2 boxes, not all full. One of them was half full, and then the other one I had a coupon when Joann was closing, and so I panic bought another box. But those are all my pod right now, and then I have a couple like bags that I had like decanted. One's in like actually a laundry sack. That's kind of sort of in storage. I have access to it, but I just can't like fit it in my truck to carry it around with me. It's just too fluffy. So I went and I got a smaller bag. This is, I think, 1.5 pounds, 1.25 pounds of stuffing, because I figured I can use this. It's more portable, and then I can refill this smaller bag to bring around smaller quantities with me. So that was kind of my plan in getting this, and I had a coupon, and so it did not break the bank. But I don't feel like I'm in plushie mode yet. Like, I'm still really excited about my granny squares. So I might indulge in one more granny square, and then we'll get started on market prep. We'll see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. It's Thursday, and I have finally gotten started on market prep. I don't leave things to the last minute. I don't thrive on chaos and the adrenaline rush from a deadline. I had to do an armadillo. I've been dying to do an armadillo for ages. I can't remember whose pattern this is. I'll link it down below because I love it. But it's a snuggler pattern, which this is the first time I've done it. I'm just testing it out. I might stuff the body a little bit. We'll see what he looks like and see what stitches are used for the snuggler portion. But I love the shaping of the head. I was trying to do the color work without breaking the color and having 1,000 ends inside, but it ended up getting a little wonky, so I just decided to not be lazy and do it the proper way. And look how clean those color changes are. Like, there's a little smush right there, but ignore that. Other than that, I think I did a really good job with the color changes. His ears are also a little wonky. The instructions were a little, so you just kind of had to crochet with your heart. But I think the wonkiness kind of like adds to his personality. I'll just have to be really sure that when I put his eyes on, that I line his eyes up with his ears and not with the color changes, which I think is gonna be fine. I'm not super worried about that. But yeah, how cute. So I'm gonna take a break and go and feed and take care of the little sheepers before I come back and keep working on this. I wanted to do several of these for the market because I thought they were cute. But considering how long the stupid color changes took me, I think we're gonna go with one, move on to other projects, and then if I have time, come back and do another one in either a brown or a dark gray, because I think that would be super cute. Right now we are sitting out in the woods. I just spent like 5 minutes stomping around in the creek because I wanted to see if I had any erosion from all of the rain and the snow and the wet, and the answer is yes, I've had some erosion. So I'm gonna have to come through and kind of dig everything down again, but there's not a lot of water down here. I thought it was gonna be much deeper considering how squishy my field is still. When I got out of my truck, it was either 70 or 80 degrees already. It is the beginning of March. What is going on with this weather? It is supposed to rain again on Sunday, but I am hoping if it stays up in the 70s and 80s for like 2 weeks, if we can have just a little bit of a drought so my field dries out. I really want my studio shed. Ugh, I feel like that's like where the stumbling block is in my brain, but no more excuses. We've got a lot of stuff to do today, and we have got to actually market prep. Otherwise, we're going to have an empty table and like a sign that says, follow me on YouTube. So speaking of that, though, if you want to like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Just, you know, I want to bring you more lamb content, and they're super cute, but we need a farm before we can do that. All right, let's go back and actually get some stuff done. It's so sunny out here, guys. I don't like it. I can't go from like snowy, deep, dark winter to like summer overnight. Like, my body just can't handle this. I can't do it. Okay, we got it. We're gonna do this. So what we have on our docket for today, first things first, you've already seen that I rearranged the inside portion of our barn. But I managed to grab out of my office the very last box that I packed out of my storage unit, which has the feet for some plastic shelves, which I think will help with our organization. And I've got a lot of like markets. You can see some back here. There's a bunch on the shelf back there where it's like market stuff, but it's being stored like out in the open. It's not in a box. It wouldn't fit. And things are getting dusty, and I'm worried with the way things are going that we'll hit pollen season, and then pollen will be out of control, and I want to make sure everything is either inside or in a box or a bag before that happens. Fortunately, we're not in a big pine area, but yeah, we're not going to risk it. We're not going to risk it. There are spider webs like floating through the air. So much better. Okay, so now I've got plenty of room to walk. That bookshelf fits real nice back in that corner. This is all still a mess, but ignore that for right now. And then I moved my shelf because I was going to put this down next to the other shelf, but to pull the drawers out, it would have been tough to get into. But putting it here, it's the same like depth as the other shelves, and then I can still get those drawers in and out like in that space. And it's far enough back from the door that if the door ever leaked, this is not going to get wet. So really happy about that. And I'm really hoping that if I take the time to do all this organization, I'll be able to get my studio shed delivered, and it'll be an absolute moot point because all of this is going in the other shed. Okay, let's fill up these racks. You can tell we're doing really well. All right, so we are switching gears just a little bit. It's just after 12:30. Which means that I would like to be out of here by 2 o'clock at the absolute latest if I want to get everything done today that I need to get done. But that means that I need to go from reorganizing this mess to getting stuff put together to put in the truck for Sunday. The plus side is I don't think it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days. I mean, it's been a little like misty or whatever at night, but I don't think that's going to be bad. So I think I'm just going to have to bring very few items, like decoration wise, and then put most of it in the back of the truck, which if it gets wet, it gets wet. We'll let it dry out. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, the thing I am kind of happy about though is this. I know I've showed it to you like several times. When I had the tarps covering it and like the shelves out here and stuff, it looked really, really full. Now that I have that out, it's looking a lot emptier. Now it's still pretty full, don't get me wrong. But this space, I was getting really worried because this space in here is about 190 square feet, like in this open area, not including the little shed part on the other side that we've been working in. The shed that I ordered for my studio is, if you calculate the interior, it's about 280 square feet. And so I was really worried about the fact that this was how full this was. And I still have all of my furniture and a lot of other stuff in a pod. And I was like, there's no way this is going to fit. Now, it's still too much. I still have a lot of stuff that I need to pare down or go through. However, this looks a lot better spatially. I was getting really, really worried. And a lot of the volume is like, you can see over in the corner my fleeces. And then a lot of this is like yarn that needs to get used up, like plushy yarn. There's big open space in the back, so I didn't want things sitting in the back corner. So fingers crossed, and then it's pretty open over on that side too. So fingers crossed we can get the studio. I know I've said this like 12 times in like the last 3 minutes on the video, but I really, really, really want my studio shed. All right, so it is 1:04 right now. My timer, my 1 o'clock alarm went off just as I was throwing my last tarp over the stuff in the shed. All of my stuff is already packed. I have stuff in the bed of the truck, and that's all strapped down and ready to go. And that timer could not have come at a better time. As soon as I sat in the truck, I'm a little chilly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have heat exhaustion. Like literally I have goosebumps right now. My lips are all dry. My face is all red. And I have no water. I have no juice. I've got nothing in the car. That's a really big spider. There's a really big spider on my mirror. So we're not going to roll down the window for a little bit. We'll let him decide what he's gonna do. But anyway, yeah, so next thing we have to do is, first of all, get something to drink, and then we gotta go to the post office before it closes. Rehydration has been acquired. We got fruit punch, and fruit punch is what I normally get. And then they have another one that I normally get. I can't remember what it is, but I decided to get also a tropical punch as well. They also had a grape strawberry that looked curious, but I felt like this would be super refreshing. And then we have a second one, just in case we need to rehydrate. I think that's upside down, but you get the picture. All right, so we went from, what, like 80-something degrees to now like 54 degrees. The sweater had to come back on. So we went to the post office, and I have some packages. We'll open those in just a second. But first, food. Food done. Now it's package time. All right, so first package. New Furls hook. It's their metal streamline, 4.5 millimeter. I've got another video that I'm working on where a tragic accident befell my hook. So I immediately ordered a new one. So came in the mail, we got it. This one got lost in the mail, almost cried. I was actually sitting on their website with like the page open, watching to see how many they had left in stock in case this was lost. I was like, do I order a new one? Do I order one just in case? Fortunately, I did not order a backup one. This one found its way here. But this is from Freckled Whimsy. It is their 2025 Advent skein. It's a 24 stripe colorway. I'd always wanted to get one of these, but I've seen so many of the stripy Advent socks where I don't like the colors of them. But when I saw the final reveal of this one, it was gorgeous. Like, if I saw that as a skein, I would never ever buy that, but the final sock is fantastic. I did kind of splurge, and instead of getting the 25 gram mini, I went ahead and got the 50 gram mini. The package says 25, but my packing slip says 50, so I'm gonna weigh it, but I'm pretty sure that's a 50 gram and not a 25. But this is their 75-25 Serendipity base. They're a little limited. I like their other base. That's their 80-20, but this is also really nice too. Really pretty color, and the colorway is Frosted Winter Garland. They still had a few skeins left. Limited options, but they did have a few skeins left on their website last I looked. So if you want your own, go check it out. And then my last purchase is another kind of after the fact Advent purchase. So I, 2 years ago, got the Fiber Fox Advent. And it was nice. Well, first of all, the yarn was great. I had gotten the super fancy base. It's like a merino cashmere silk or something. It was fantastic. The yarn itself was gorgeous, but I wasn't super keen on the fade. Like, when you put it all together, it looks nice, but like it wasn't as exciting to me as I would have liked for an Advent. So I didn't get their one last year. I held back. And then throughout December, as they were revealing the colors, they had made this really, I think actually their mom made it, but they were displaying this really pretty blanket that they had made with the Advent colors. And basically it's like it's just flowers. So it has their hexagons, right? So you have a hexagon center, and then you have the flower petals in the Advent color, and it was on like this green background. So I broke down and I got the Advent calendar. They had really limited choices for the bases, especially because I kind of wanted a project bag. Like, I wanted the whole deal. I ended up getting their Luke sock, which is 75-25. Guys, the softest, like, this is the best feeling 75-25 I have ever felt in my life. Like, it is, I don't even know what this is. It is so nice. I'm so excited. So obviously this is not the Advent, because that would be a lot of yarn, right? Even for me. I have thoughts and feelings about the Advent they sent me. We'll talk more about that when I actually go to use the yarn. But Buttercup is the one they dyed up for the center of the flowers that they used in their example. And this is Cow Parsley, which is the color that they used for the background. How stinking pretty. I mean, it's got like these little like specklies in it and everything. Ugh, it's so soft. I probably should not have been like, yeah, I totally want to do a fingering weight blanket that doesn't actually have a pattern. They just made it up and dropped little clues as to how to make it. I actually don't even know if it's fingering weight. Just thinking about it just now, I'm gonna have to do some testing to even figure out what weight yarn they used. So we're doing great. All right, so that's all the packages. Now I'm gonna figure out what to do all the trash. Okay. Next thing on our list. Oh, it is rough. So usually in March it's still cold. I've got my sleeves rolled up and I am sweating. And so all that time, market prepping hats is like down the tube because who's gonna buy it when it's 70 degrees outside? So last night, oh, hang on. Bald Guy's Pizza's loud. So I don't remember if I told you yesterday, but I ended up having to go get hay because the hay place is closed on Sunday and Monday, and the sheep were down to their last little bit. And then when I went into work, I realized that I got a text from the people who own the land where the sheep are, and they were going camping that night, which means I had to drop everything to go back and give them some more water, just to make sure they were all set for the night because I couldn't go after work. And then one of my employees got sick, and so I had to cover for them. And so I was at work until like 11 o'clock last night. So obviously no market prep happened, in addition to the fact that the time changed, and you know I don't do well with time change. And then of course today it's like super windy. You can see the storm gathering in the background. I can't find my cash. Like it's not like lost. It's just not where I thought it was, which means it's in the other place. I also don't have my sidewalls because it's packed in my pod, and I'm missing 2 of my tent weights. So it is gonna be a very interesting day. So I'm in theory all set up. I'll show you my booth when I get back, but I'm still like putting some tags on and weaving in the ends of those last hats that I finished. But I had to go visit Empanada Guy. His vegetarian empanadas are delicious, and his pineapple juice, out of this world. It's like my favorite part of every market.
Let me know.
Oh my gosh. So obviously, judging by the woods in the background and all this junk in the back seat, market is over. Got all packed up nice and smoothly. It did sprinkle toward the end. Got a little wind gusty at a few points in the day as well. But overall, market was lovely as per usual. I finally sold my mermaid something shawl. Yeah, I don't know. Mermaid something shawl. If you go on my Ravelry projects. Oh, I can't even talk anymore. I'm so tired. I've got a page for that if you want to see it. I think I made it using the Cape May fibers, their brush Surrey alpaca and silk. So excited that went to a new home. I loved the pattern. I loved making it. I loved the yarn. It just wasn't my color, and it wasn't something I was going to wear, so I'm really glad I could sell that to somebody who was going to love it. It actually matched the top that she was wearing, so that was really awesome. You guys already know the Empanada Guy was there. That was the best part. It's always my highlight. He's great. So one interesting part of market, last year at some point when I was really first just moving, my parents came to visit, and my mom brought with her a tub of my Beanie Babies. Now, it's not the only tub of my Beanie Babies. She just happened to bring one with her, which then I had to store in storage. But that's not the point. But of course, because I like hardly played with them as a child, because they were like collectors or whatever, pristine condition. But of course, nobody wants Beanie Babies anymore. So I wanted to get rid of them. And so I had the box, and I wasn't originally going to put them out on the table because I didn't want like my handmade plushies and then like vintage Beanie Babies on the same table. It just felt weird. But because I only had a stuffed pumpkin and didn't have like any of my actual plushies because I didn't market prep, my next door neighbor talked me into putting the Beanie Babies out on the table. And it was so much fun. I didn't sell a ton of them. I sold a few. I sold them for like $3 each. And I gave away a couple to some of the usual market kids who I see there every month with their parents. So that was fun. But the number of adults who walked by, and they were like, the kids would be looking, and I kind of gesture to it. And I'm like, why, yes, these are vintage Beanie Babies from the late 1900s. And the parents are like, oh, don't say it like that. The kids thought it was hilarious, of course. But there was a lot of nostalgia, a lot of like reminiscing. So even though I didn't sell a ton, it was really cute. It was a nice walk down memory lane. However, going through that particular bin, I found two. They're coming home with me. I found a lamb. How cute. So definitely going to keep that one. And then he also has a hat. It's in my bag somewhere. I found this cute little mouse. He looks kind of ugly on camera, but he's much cuter in real life. So look, he still has his tags on and everything. And like I said, he has his little rain hat. So he is coming home with me as well. No idea what I'm going to do with them since I don't have a studio or a house yet. You know, we're doing great. We're doing great. Anyway, what else was I going to tell you about the market? I had something else. Oh, not market. So by the way, my lambs doing super well. They're super cute. And you know what I noticed about them? I actually noticed this yesterday or a few days ago. The little boy has floppy ears, just like his dad, and the little girl has like stand-up ears, just like her mom. Like, it is killing me. So when you look at their pictures, you can tell which one's the girl and which one's the boy, because the girl's ears go up and the boy's ear flops down. It is so freaking adorable. So anyway, that was that. My big market project. I worked on my blanket, which hopefully blanket video will be coming out soon because we are making progress. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Boom. That is one of the squares. Obviously, I didn't weave in the ends, but that's a project for another time. So, really excited about seeing this project come to completion. Now, tonight, I'm trying to think what we have to do. I'm hoping to have enough time to go grab something to eat because I'm kind of hungry. I kind of have a headache. The whole time change is absolutely killing me. And then I have to go to work. Woohoo. Wish me luck. All right, guys. So, it's been another week of doing everything except for market prep. Hopefully in the future, we'll do an actual market prep video. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.